Do you have to live in the end 24/7? That's a very good question, and I get it quite a lot. Hi, my name is Babs. I'm a manifesting coach. My website is manifestwithbabs.com. Yes, I did rename it. And you can book sessions on there in your own time zone. Other than that, let's get started. How are you today? How's your manifesting going? Please drop a line below. How's your manifesting going? What are you working on? Let me know. Right to the question that we started with. Do we have to live in the end 24/7? Because manifesting is known as living in the end, right? No, you don't. As a matter of fact, when you start any deliberate manifesting process, you are not living in the end. Obviously, that's why we're manifesting deliberately, right? So what living in the end means in this portion of manifestation in the beginning, it means it's just the focusing part. So there's 4 steps that I teach, right? And there's a whole video about it. You start with focus work, then you release resistance and detach. And you do this over and over and over until your manifestation shows up. That's how it works. And we do this actually in the natural manifesting too. We just don't notice it. But deliberately, that's what we're talking about right now, right? So we start with focus work. That could be scripting, that could be affirmations, that could be visualizations. But when you do either one of these or whatever you do to do your focus work, I want you to always add the feeling of having the end result. What does it feel like? Feeling it real, right? We all know what Neville says. So that is the part where we're living in the end, is every time we do focus work. That's it. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to do more. When you're being triggered by anything negative that is the opposite of your end result, that's when you want to do the focus work. That's when you want to go into the section of living in the end, right? That's when you do living in the end work. That's all it is. And it starts out as just the focus work. And the more you work through resistance and detaching, and the more you do focus work, in the end, you actually start feeling more and more like you have it. And when you're falling into alignment towards the end, right before it shows up, A, you don't know that you're in alignment. And B, you just feel good. And C, eventually it just happens really quickly. I have gotten my manifestations really quickly. Once you fall into alignment, it doesn't take long. And alignment isn't something that happens from now and overnight or from 1 hour to the next. It's actually very gradual. So when you're, for example, when you're clearing out the last story that was in the way in step 3, right, with getting all the resistance cleared out, and you find the last story, it could take 10 to 14 days before the manifestation shows up, because that is actually a very common number of manifestations showing up. Sometimes it is 3 to 4 days, 2 to 4 days. More often than not, after the last story is cleared out or after attachment is cleared out, it can take easily 10 to 14 days, because that's how long something can take to actually start pushing out into your 3D. And often they would show up within a day or 3 days, but very sporadic and very hit and miss and here and there a little bit. But they can kick in fully 100% between 10 and 14 days most of the time. Again, I've had sooner results, but often they were spotty. And often manifestations don't just come in all at once. They often gradually come in, because you're gradually clearing things out. So things are gradually coming in as well. That's a very natural process. Manifestations don't always just come in boom. For example, my most successful, and he's my favorite story to tell because he was such a big part of my life, my first SP that got me into manifesting. When he showed up, he added me on Snapchat on a Sunday night. He didn't start talking to me until 2 days later. And then I didn't see him until 3 weeks later. So it took over a month for it to actually come in fully. So it can take time. It can take time gradually, because you're still detaching, you're still clearing out stories. And the things can start coming in as you're clearing things out, but they might not come in 100% yet. But by the time they show up 100%, that's when everything is in alignment, right? My little thing that I always do. Anyway, so alignment is a thing that happens when you've done all the work and you are in alignment with your manifestation, and then you can stay in alignment, but it is work. You have to keep working at it. You can fall out of alignment, right? We all know this because we all have lost manifestations, right? Especially SPs. But you can get back into alignment anytime. You just have to do the work, the 4 steps that I teach, or different way if it works for you. Again, living in the end is your focus work. And the more you do the focus work, the releasing resistance, the detaching, the more you approach alignment, and eventually you hit alignment and the manifestation shows up, and then you are living in the end. But right before the manifestation shows up, you are living in the end, because again, as we're clearing out these stories, the opposing stories, and we're detaching, the more we do that, the more we align, and the more we are living in the end, and the less we think about the manifestation. Because when we have something, we rarely really consciously think about it because we already have it. We tend to think about things a lot more when we don't have them, when we want them, right? But that's what these 4 steps are for. And if you think you're in alignment, you still have steps 2 and 3, or 3 and 4 in my case, to work on, which is releasing resistance and detaching. And that's okay. It's actually a natural part of the process to think that you're in alignment, which is the same as expecting your manifestation. If you're expecting your manifestation, that is also, you got to work on step 3 and 4 that I teach. Release resistance and detach over and over and over. So when you're expecting your manifestation, or you think you're in alignment, you just have more work to do. And it's okay. It's actually part of the process. I still go through it. The best manifestors go through it, and that's totally okay. It is okay. Let it be okay. And be okay with it that you're not okay with it. Be okay that you're not okay with it. Whatever you need to accept, do that. So again, living in the end is really just the focus work. Living in the end is just doing the focus work. Do it by scripting, affirming, visualizing, feeling it real. I don't care how you do it, but feeling it real is always the most honest, the most genuine way to do it, because we are feeling beings. We love to feel. We hate to feel. We feel. We just feel all the time. So feeling it, having it, makes it the most real. So you can add feeling it real to affirming or visualizing or scripting, or you can do multiples together. I like to do affirmation, visualization, and feeling it real. That's my favorite. So again, living in the end is not a 24/7 thing, nor should you try to do that either. It's very unhealthy to try to force yourself to live in the end and pretend. That's just pretending in the end, right? You don't want to pretend that you have it. Pretending that you have it is being in denial, and that is equal to resistance. It is resistance, and resistance can create attachment, or you already have attachment, or either one. But you want to do the focus work. You want to follow the 4 steps. If you're watching my channel, try out the 4 steps for everything you're doing and see how fast you can actually feel better, and then see how fast you can get results. Do it for little manifestations, medium manifestations, and big manifestations. All of them. Again, I really want to know what you're working on right now. Drop a line below. What are you working on? How's it going? Share with me. Please, please, please. I want to hear from you. Again, 24/7 is not necessary. You live in the end when you do the focus work. I want to stress this. You live in the end as you are doing the focus work. As I'm visualizing I have it, that is me living in the end. Other than that, the 98% of the day that follows or is in between, do the day, live your life, do you, do things that you like, because that's helping you detach. Do things that make you happy. And you want to focus or live in the end as often as you want to, when you want to. There's no time of day. Don't listen to these other coaches. You don't have to do it during any time of day. You don't even have to do meditations to get into the end result. You can do it for 5 seconds. My end result feelings or visualizations usually last anywhere from 5 to 15 seconds. I make them really quick, but it feels natural and it feels nice. So as long as you're genuine and it feels natural to you, do that. Do it whenever, however often you want, how little you want. Actually, the less you do it and it feels good as you're doing it, the more you're approaching alignment. But if you're now thinking about, I must be close to alignment because I'm thinking about it less, then it's just an indication that you are not ready yet, and you probably want to work on steps 3 and 4 some more. And that's okay. That's natural too. So as you're working on it, just remember anything you're going through is normal, and soothe yourself with that. Whatever you're feeling, whatever is happening, whatever you're going through is normal. I really hope this helped. Have a great day.